Hello, hello, hello. Talk to me in the chat. Talk to me in the chat. Who's here? Let's make sure everything's working. We'll do a little Gittens, maybe a bit of Ganacho talk for the first part of this video. A bit like we did yesterday, because I really enjoyed that, and I want to know what you guys thought. We do like a little bit of an analysis section at the start, and then we sort of end off with just any and everything question-wise. And then we'll sort of, during that questionable bit at the end, we'll do the Tunis preview. Take your questions ahead of that, sort of see who people think should be starting the game, etc., etc. So let me know who's here. Drop a like if you haven't already. Let's try and run that up because we're on 9 already, so very good start. Yesterday, we didn't hit 50 by the end of the stream, and I think it kind of hurt the algorithm as it sort of... It still got near to 100 likes, but the ones that seem to get 100 likes on the streams are the ones that end the stream with well above 50. So let's try and hit the like button from the get-go, and then we don't have to worry about that, and we can just chill. We're on 11 likes already, so happy days. Big up Daniel. Matet, I'm a shoot. Do you mean Mateta, Daniel? What's up, Zach? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. We'll just give it a minute, see who rolls in. I know, Daniel. I would love a Ekatike, man. Gittens and Ekatike, which if you could sign both, I'd be over the moon. Yeah, Yildiz is unbelievable. Yildiz is unbelievable. He's more the other profile, so if you was going to get him, it would be with Gittens, in my opinion, Zach. So it would be like Yildiz falls into the category of Rogers, Xavi Simmons, and them guys, but he is unbelievable. I'm a big fan of Yildiz. I was actually I thought it was a massive shame that they sacked Motta, because I think Motta would have been able to get the best out of Yildiz long term. I think that system was best for him. I have no idea, Daniel. I think 100% think he moves. Whether that's us, whether that's Liverpool, if they can like recoup the money. Man United obviously in for him, and supposedly doing a lot of groundwork towards him. It's a big question, but I think he moves. I'm not sure where, but I do think he sort of forces a move out somewhere in the Prem. Hopefully it's us. 100% he's the Rogers alternative. Yeah, for sure, Zach. For sure. Anyone that hasn't typed in the chat, just let us know you're here. Rogers is still very good, but Yildiz probably has more technical quality. But I think, I said this yesterday, Rogers for me, he's just physically built for the Premier League. And it's not like miles apart. I definitely wouldn't say embarrasses. Type in the chat if you haven't already, though. Let's see who's here. Let's say hello. Who's your number one choice for left winger? For genuine out-and-out left winger, it was Gittens. That was realistic. I mean, Barcola would have been my absolute number one, but for me, that wasn't realistic. Gittens was the one that I wanted of all the actual left wingers. Then I also would like somebody who's a little bit more experienced, and it doesn't have to be old experienced. Kudus is experienced in the Premier League. Rogers is experienced in the Premier League. Someone of that ilk to also come in and play minutes off the left, but also offer a number 10 sort of hybrid solution. So that's where I'm at in terms of what I want. But Gittens is right up there for me. And we're going to talk about why in today's stream. Thoughts on Murillo? He's so ideal and an elite dual winner. He's brilliant. His height is obviously the main issue with him that sort of comes to fruition. But I also think he's going to be expensive to get out Forest. But I do really like him. Very good on the ball as well. Sort of got that range to his passing. Are you not worried about the amount of left footers we would have if we sign Kudus? Yes, I am. I said that yesterday. I am. That is the one thing that does worry me quite a bit. If we sign Rogers, it will be before Monday, yeah? No idea. I know what you mean because of the PSR, and that's where you're coming from, but I wouldn't know. Hopefully, but yeah. You know, that could happen. That could happen. Yeah, and I wasn't surprised that we lost Gabriel. I mean, we didn't even rotate. We just changed the system. We didn't really rotate. But I knew Flamengo were going to be the hardest game. I said it from the get-go. I knew that South American teams weren't going to be messing around in this tournament. I said it before a single ball had been kicked in this tournament that the South American teams weren't to be messed with, and it's coming to fruition every single time we watch one of them. So I'm not surprised whatsoever. this week being PSR week, yeah, it should be very interesting for transfers. A lot of sort of deals on the move and a lot of things sort of, there'll be a lot of things going on in the background that we don't hear about as well. So that's something. We aren't beating Bayern. We shall see. We shall see, Daniel. I'm looking forward to it. That's what I like. Again, if Benfica win tonight, then it's actually Benfica in around 16, and then Palmeiras or Botafogo in the quarterfinal. I want to play Bayern, man. I know that's stupid. I know it's stupid, but I want to play Bayern. I just think I think it's such a good test for this side, and I understand the easier route, the better, of course. Like, and I'm not like, I'll celebrate it if Benfica win tonight and we have a nice little run, and hopefully we can get an easier run to the semi-final. Brilliant. Like, of course, I'll be happy in that sense, but I want to face them. This isn't pre-season. Yeah, I know, but we barely have a pre-season, and exactly, we need to see where we stand. Like, we barely have a pre-season. I want to win this tournament, by the way. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we should take it lightly, but for me, playing a team like Bayern early, it only helps to get them up for it and actually like show where we're at. And I feel like if we go in complacent and we beat Benfica and then we beat one of the South American teams, which will be a tough game anyway, it'll take a lot out of us energy-wise. And then we arrive in the semi-final against one of these elite teams, then it's the same question for me. Like, I'd rather just do it. I want to sort of test ourselves early. Maresca can beat Company. I agree. I think we can beat Bayern. I don't think we go in as underdogs. Of course we do. And I am worried about Bayern. They have so many ridiculously good players, and they can hurt us in quite a few different ways. And I will, if we get to that point, there'll be a huge tactical video about how we can beat Bayern, how they can beat us, and we'll go into that. But there's definitely bits in that game for us, for sure. As Gabriel was saying, Bayern's defense isn't that good going out next round compared to the semis. Of course, money. I get it. And he is brilliant, Elise. What was the Rodgers bit about? Oh, that to this question from Seb. Assuming we get Gittens, would you prefer Rodgers or Rodrigo? If we got Gittens, this is going to sound silly because a lot of people would say like Rodrigo is the perfect hybrid signing. Oh, I don't know. Actually, I was about to say Rodgers, but I think you just go Rodrigo just purely on the quality side of things. Oh, that's tough because I have a soft spot for Rodgers. That's tough. I'm going to let the chat answer that one. Gabriel said Rodgers already, I'm assuming to that. Chat, answer Seb. Rodgers or Rodrigo as the hybrid signing, not as just one signing. Gittens is already through the door. Rodgers or Rodrigo, go. Because I'm going to stay indifferent for a minute. For now. I hate the way Liverpool keep making smart decisions regarding transfers and managers and of similar higher budget, constantly screw up. Don't get me wrong. I think Liverpool have had a good window so far. What I would say, Kirkes I love a lot. Since AZ Alkmaar, I've been big on Kirkes. Frimpong, I'm reserving my judgment because it depends what Slot does with his tactics. He's got qualities, but I'm not convinced on that signing. Wirtz is obviously brilliant, but again, it's expensive. So like that one doesn't really bother me too much. Obviously, it bothers me that such an unbelievable player is in the league and he will suit them and he will do unbelievably because he is just a ridiculously good footballer. But yeah, that's sort of where I am on that. We'll see what they do with the rest of their window because they're still moving. If they sign Ekatike, you hope the worst. Interesting. Liverpool get a manager in that suits the players they already have, proves himself. Meanwhile, we always pick up opposite managers to last. Yeah, but I mean, the squad's always been like Pochettino was the issue there, not Maresca. Pochettino was the one that didn't suit the group. Maresca does suit the group, barring one or two players that, of course, like have now. Again, the Pochettino system isn't anywhere near as close to. What was I trying to say? The chat just sort of exploded there, and I was the Pochettino system was way different, and it was sort of like the opposite end of the spectrum. And this is more so towards the end that we need to be at. What's good money, Mike's Napoli funding their TK deal? Yeah, it's not good, is it? Of Liverpool sign a TK, you hope the worst for Chelsea. If Chelsea let Paul sign a McKay, I'm with you now, Daniel. Yeah, I agree. I really want Yeah, the João Felix thing's interesting, because I do think, I said this last season, like, I do think you could make it work with him, but again, it wouldn't be as a starter. But I do think you could have used him better, as that sort of like maverick hybrid player. It's purely like, I think, the out of possession thing. But again, he started to work a bit harder off the ball last season, so I think something that we don't know in that sort of situation. Anyway, we're going to talk about Gittens for 10 minutes like we did yesterday, so that I can then cut that up and edit it and do a few bits for it for a video. Because, by the way, I just want to shout out, firstly, drop a like on the stream to help push this stream out. But secondly, everybody that then went over to the video yesterday, dropped a like, left a comment, helped me with the algorithm, asked me a question I can then respond to in the chat. Thank you so much, because I'm trying to be a bit more efficient with how we do this. I'm trying to use the stream as like an hour recording session. Then I can make some videos off the back of that when we come offline. I'm obviously having to then do write-ups, player reports, like through my day, trying to make a few TikToks as well. So I'm trying to be efficient with my day now and trying to get loads of sort of content made in sort of those periods of time. And it really does help out. Every little bit of support, every little like, every comment to help push the algorithm, like I say, really, really helps me out. So please do subscribe if you haven't already, and continue to support the channel, because it really does mean the world to me. Let me just really quickly refresh the stream, see what we're on. We're on 17 likes. We've got 30 people in the stream. I was saying at the start, the video did brilliantly, but the stream didn't do as well yesterday. And I think it's because we didn't hit the 50 like threshold before I ended the stream. So if you haven't hit the like button already, please do just smash it now and then forget about it for the rest of the sort of stream. We're going to talk about Gittens. We're going to talk about Tunis. We're going to talk about all that good stuff. So again, thank you for the support. Let's have a little chat about Gittens now. So, Jamie Gittens, looking imminent to join Chelsea, but why is he perfect for Chelsea? We're going to talk about it. So, as we already know, in this system, okay, the wingers are absolutely key. And we've seen that this season with Noni Madueke, and we've seen it with Neto and Sancho. Those two, so Madueke more so than the other two, he offers that directness on the wing, and you're going to constantly put those players into those 1v1 areas. You're going to put them on the ball, and you're going to want them to go at their man. You want to isolate them, maybe don't use blue, as often as possible with their fullback. Now, the first key trait for a Maresca winger, in my opinion, is the goldfish trait. And the reason is, of times you're going to isolate that player is probably going to be 10 plus times a game. What you don't want is them to shy away from taking on their man. Something Sancho began to do, even though he's good at dribbling, but he knew he didn't have the explosive level to get away from the player. So he'd often, again, sort of shy away from it. Mudryk, we saw it progressively. At the get-go, he would always go at his man. And then slowly, as things went wrong, he started to shy away from it, and progressively get less and less likely to make that action, which is not a good thing, especially under Maresca. Madueke, as much as people sort of like hassle on at him, he will go at his man. He will do it. If we quickly look at the take-on numbers, right? Madueke, he attempted 4.59 with 2.08 successful. Now, Sancho actually has 4.82 completed, but 2.2 successful. But the difference is, Sancho would sort of beat his man, like I say, and then he'd almost cut back because he couldn't get away. Whereas when Noni does it, he's direct. And when he does it, he beats the man and he goes into the box. The difference in terms of carries into the box, Madueke has 3.92. Sancho had 2.75. Neto had 1.83. Okay, so it progressively scaled downwards. Sancho, I actually really like him as a player. And I think he would have, he just doesn't have that same power to get away in the Premier League that he needs, especially when you're playing a low block, because you need to create that separation for yourself. And we're going to talk about why Gittens does that perfectly. Now, Gittens' numbers, so we're saying 4.59 for Madueke, attempted take-ons, 4.82 for Sancho, 4.24 for Neto. Gittens has 7.97 attempted with 3.57 completed, so a 44.8% success rate, which is close to Madueke, 45.3. Again, Sancho, 45.5. He's a little bit more efficient, but like I say, he doesn't have that same sort of zip to get away. So that's extremely important. And he also has 3.06 carries into the penalty area, which is more than Neto and Sancho. So again, you're starting to see a theme there. You want somebody who's direct, carries into the box, has the pace to get away, has the power to get away, uses their body well in the duel as well, and that's key. So that's one massive point of why Gittens, and like you can tell from those stats that he has the goldfish trait. 7.97 attempted take-ons. That's pretty much the definition of the goldfish trait. He will go at a player every single time. And that is what I love about Gittens. Now, it doesn't come without its flaws. I will mention those now. In terms of when he does go at his man, he can, of course, be so direct and so engulfed in the idea of going at his man, beating him 1v1, that he doesn't always get his head up to make the right decision. So his decision-making hasn't hit a level yet. He will sometimes, if he's already made the decision that he's going to beat his man on the outside and cross it in, it's very unlikely he changes that decision. Same on the inside. If he's already made that decision and he's sort of eyeing up how he's going to beat his man before he cuts inside, and he's already made the decision to get the shot off, likelihood is he's going to do that. Again, his shooting efficiency is important, and that's another reason why I really want him. He's a shoot-first winger rather than a creator. He has 2.49 shots per 90, so it's actually not the highest shot volume, but he gets 40.3% on target. He shoots from distance, his average distance at 17.7 yards, which is more than Madueke and Sancho. The only one with a further distance there is Neto. And he also has the second highest XG. Noni way ahead with 0.47 per 90. But Gittens with 0.18, Pedro Neto with 0.13, and Sancho, this is the key detail, with just 0.10. So, and Sancho only having 1.15 shots on target. So again, really important that Gittens sort of adds that on the left-hand side, because it's something we don't have on the left in comparison to what we have on the right. And especially when you consider that you're now going to have Esteval getting minutes on the right. Now, not saying straight away that he'll be the starter, but long-term, if you're going to have Esteval, who you want to be a little bit more creative and you want to give him that little bit more freedom to drift inside and connect play, you want the left side to give you what Noni was giving you on the right if you're going to have this wing pairing. And I do think Gittens suits having, I think Esteval and Gittens as a pairing, wing pairing, works very well. And that is why, another reason why I'm so big on him. Let's move away from the tactics board for a minute and let's talk about why Gittens, like what I like about him. Now, first of all, what is he elite at, in my opinion? And it is creating separation for himself. His ability to go from a standstill to create the bit of separation that he needs and create an action quickly to open up an angle and take the angle as quickly as he can. He can do this with passing, but it's not something he's fully unlocked yet. But what he does it brilliantly with is, like I say, crossing at the byline and especially creating an angle for a shot. Now, in this scenario here, you can see exactly what I mean. He's got defenders swarming him in the box. He's taking small touches. He's still upright where he can sort of adjust his body really well. And then the next move, he's already away from this player. He shifts really quickly onto his right foot, quick shift, and he can quickly get it through the gap of all these defenders. Look how many players are swarming around him, and he's able to do that. When he's in these wide areas, something that he does really well, and we've already spoken about the goldfish trait, but the second trait that's so important for me is how he keeps his body upright in these moments so that he can go both ways, okay? He's upright here, and you'd expect, with the defender sort of showing him away, that the easiest option here for him is to go down the line because he's sort of blocking him from coming back inside. But the fact that he's upright, he's using that ball manipulation that he's got tight at his feet. His step over is a signature move. And then he actually manages to shift, make the defender jump towards to block him off going to the byline because they're scared about that burst of pace that he has to go. In 2 actions, he can get to the byline, go cross instantly, 2 actions. He barely has to move to open up this angle to get a shot off. And it's these moments, these really quick angle-changing moments that are so key and why I love Gittens so much. And I think it's just so important to, 1, breaking down a low block, but 2, for just being a perfect Maresca winger. Again, we go to here. Look at his body orientation, upright. He can go both ways. He's sort of surveying the situation. You've got an extra defender on the inside. Can he get to the byline? Where's the defender's body weight placed? Is he coming towards you? Where can he beat him? So he's got that upright, body right orientation. Okay, body right, upright. As you can see here, bursts towards the byline, and then before anybody can get close, because he's got that burst that Sancho didn't have, he goes from here to here, beats the defender. Nobody can get over to support because the burst's too quick, so they're not going to be able to cover that space either. gets the cross into the box, creates a chance for his team. And it's those moments that from the standstill, that burst of acceleration, that explosiveness, but also the tight control, like I said here, it's the difference to be able to go both inside and outside. And he has both of those capabilities, and it is extremely key when it comes to talking about Gittens. And that's the second reason I think he's a perfect fit for Chelsea. So if we go back to, let's go back to the tactics board. Back to the tactics board. I was going to say a few more stats that were important to speak about. So we spoke about his shot efficiency. The other thing that, again, is so important, and we talk about that ability to create off the dribble in those isolations, because, again, in these moments, they're going to be creating off the dribble because you're in these 1v1s, and can they either create a chance to deliver from here off the dribble, or can they create a chance to get a shot off the dribble? In terms of shot creating actions, Jamie Gittens and Noni both have 3.57 shot creating actions per game. Pedro Neto has 3.72 and Sancho has 3.73. So they actually have more shot creating actions, Pedro Neto and Sancho. However, a lot of those shot creating actions are for other people. Whereas Noni and Gittens, they create more off the dribble. If we're talking about successful take-ons that lead to a shot attempt, Sancho has 0.20. Neto, 0.31. Then a big jump to Madueke with 0.47. And then a huge jump to Gittens with 1.24 shot creating actions from a successful take-on, which is absolutely huge. Again, 0.27 from being fouled, which is double Madueke, nearly double Madueke, nearly double Neto, and more than double of Sancho. And again, goal creating actions, Gittens actually has the most, 0.45 compared to 0.39 of Noni. Sancho has 0.55. So this is what I mean with Sancho. Sancho's are more from those passing moments. If we're talking about passes, Sancho creates 3.37 of his 3.73 shot creating actions from passes. Neto 2.62, Noni 2.59, and Gittens only 1.79. So you can see how Gittens is more creating his own shots off the dribble rather than creating through passing for other people. But that's not to say he doesn't have the ability to create those passes. Now, again, crosses wise, Madueke makes 3.3 crosses per 90. Neto makes 5.64. Sancho only made 1.38. Gittens somewhere in the middle of everybody, all between Noni and Sancho, with 2.3 crosses per 90. But again, it's something he can really unlock because his ability to get to the byline and put that cross into the box is actually really, really strong. And I think with somebody like Delap in there, hopefully we can get a little bit of joy from that and he'll start to do it a little bit more. So that's another point that I wanted to point out in terms of Jamie Gittens and his crossing ability. I think we've touched on all the stats that I wanted to talk about. Now, is there anything else that we wanted to talk about in terms of Gittens? I don't think there's much more that I wanted to speak about specifically. So we'll go now into the questions. We're going to go onto the chat. Kalius saying, shout out Connor and the chat. Like the video, please, guys. As he's just said, please like the video. I've not been reading any of the chat. So anything you've put, if you want to answer questions now, now's the time to retype it so that I don't have to go all the way up looking through the chat. But please do like the video to support, and let's get into the question part of the video now. Everybody, leave your questions. What do you think of Gittens? What do you think of the explanation of Gittens? We've got 28 likes, but we've got 56 people in the building. Please, 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 can we run that up to 50? We've got more than enough people in here now to get that to 50 likes. It massively helps the algorithm for me. Really helps me out. I'm willing to answer all your questions, so leave them down below. And please do drop a like. Now, we seem as a club to make the same mistakes over and over again. I think this is from a conversation you've already been having, Kaz. So I'm going to leave that. But let me know if there's something you want me to answer. Like I say, retype it. Gittens and Rodgers sounds excellent to me. That would be my ideal with what seems most realistic now. That would be my ideal situation. Thoughts about Gittens as the second forward in the new Meta 2 forward system he talked about? Honestly, it could work because it's much like Neto. Let's sort of move it into this now. And we'll do it with Estelle on the pitch as well. Because now, let's imagine Reece is there, Cucurella is there. Enzo is deeper. Now, again, this might not be Enzo in this situation. But let's imagine it's this sort of positioning. Palmer is playing in the 10, so he's more operating in there. And Esteval's now drifted central. In terms of having two players in between the pockets that are so technically proficient, you even get the depth passing of Enzo. Let's say this is Reece or Gusto, whoever can sort of manage the game. But then you've also got Delap and Gittens, who can play quite well in those 2v2 moments that we spoke about yesterday, because you've got the pace of Gittens to get in behind, you've got the strength of Delap, they can play off one another. Like I say, Gittens can still sort of peel off towards that left side. Delap can still come central to receive sort of those moments if it's in that two-man game. But Delap can also sort of spin off into this channel if need be. So I do actually really like the idea of that. Again, not for an everyday thing, but for certain games, he could definitely do it. The Chelsea boy saying, does Gittens actually improve us, though? I said this from the get-go, and people aren't going to like this. I said this way before. Okay, Kaz. Okay. I've said this before. I do think Gittens improves us. I don't know if he hits the ground running. I'm not convinced that he's ready to be that guy straight away. And I know people don't like that. And that's just the truth. I need to be honest. That's what I think is the case. Do I think he will explode? Yes, I do. How quickly do I think it will happen? I'm not too sure. Bruno saying about when I read the stats a bit too fast. On the video, I'm going to put that on text and put it on screen when I edit the video. So I'm sorry about that. Hopefully next time I'll try and read a little bit slower. But when it comes to the video, I will try and make those stats more visual so that you can either pause and have a look and things like that. So I'm sorry about that, but I will try to fix it. But thank you for letting me know, because that's anything like that, any sort of bits that you guys think could be improved, never feel that you can't share. I'm always willing to hear it. Thoughts about George, Championship of League One? I'd like him to go on loan to Strasbourg, really. But again, with the spots that are available, I prefer Kendry going to Strasbourg. So would I loan him to the Championship? I think a few Premier League clubs are looking at him. So there's a few, but I think the physicality of the Championship could be good for him. Even somewhere like an Ipswich, but it looks like Guillou might be the one going there. But somewhere like there, or Southampton, who's going to dominate more towards the top of the Championship, get a lot of the ball, get a lot of chances to go at their man. I think it could do good for him, a bit like Ben Doak at Middlesbrough as well. I like George a lot, but I do think he needs a loan where he's going to get a lot of minutes. So, yeah. And Zach is saying exactly what I was saying. Yeah, I think he's 100% primed for an explosion. So, yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Who hits the ground running if not him? That's the problem, isn't it? Barcola would have been one. Rodrigo probably is one. Rodgers. Players like that. But in terms of Garnacho, Malik Fofana, Gittens, they're not the ones that I would say are primed to hit the ground running. You've made your peace with Gittens over Rodrigo. I was kind of hoping we'd look at Yildiz, but I'll take the lap, Gittens, Rodgers / Kudus. See, that's the thing. You could put Yildiz in with that Rodgers / Kudus window. Like, getting Gittens doesn't shut off Yildiz because he's more the Rodgers profile, in my opinion. But, yeah, like, I do kind of want Rodgers purely for that physicality. But, yeah, Kudus as well. Like, I've really warmed to the idea of Kudus. The only thing that's still keeping him behind a few of my other targets, so, like, I still have Rodgers ahead of Kudus, and it's purely the right-footed fact of it. That's the pure factor. If Kudus was a right footer, he'd be right up there for my hybrid player, like right at the top. So it's tough. What else did you put? Time to move on to a defender. Yes, Hato. I really want Hato. Everybody knows I wax Liverpool about Diamande all the time, so I'm not even going to bother. Mosquera I like as well. Again, under that same mold of Diamande, quite diamond in the rough-esque, very ready in terms of physically to take that next step. But Hato's one I really, really want. We spoke about it in yesterday's stream, so if you missed it, go watch that. But I think he opens up a lot of opportunities down that left-hand side. Because he can play as the left centre-back, he can invert, he can play higher up in the 10 if you need him to, he can overlap, he can play the nominal left-back. He's so good on the ball, he's so technically astute, he's physical, he's got everything that you need for those positions to give you tactical versatility. We answered that one. Do you think Maresco plays Enzo further forward because of the poor quality of our attackers? I think he just prefers having more, especially if you're going to play something like this. I think the biggest issue is, like, say this system. Kukurea and James push forward, you've basically got keep thinking I've got the box there. You basically have a 4-man rest defense. Enzo is not like a net plus defending those areas, so he'd rather have a Lavia there because it just gives you more physicality. I think it is as simple as that. I think, again, when we sort of see the 3-3-4 that we spoke about, where Enzo starts a little bit higher, but then he drops into like this area, I think Maresca quite likes that usage because it allows you to still get the deep usage of Enzo to progress play and use that range, but you don't have the same out of possession responsibility. So that's sort of where I am with that in terms of what I think. Okay, great. Thanks from Bruno. Port saying Yildiz will cost. Yeah, I don't think it will happen. I don't think it would happen because, like I said, I think I saw that. Wasn't it like 100 million euros? It's crazy. If we did get Fofana, if say the Gittens deal was tough to complete, would you be mad at that? No, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I said this in my last one. I like Malika Fofana a lot, but it would then switch the needs of what we need. So for me, if we were to sign, if say this is Fofana, I would then not go for a Rodgers. I would not go for a Yildiz. I would not go for a Xavi Simons. I would then want somebody who's more powerful in behind, more shot first, more goal score heavy, arrive at the back post, like outlet play. That's what I would then want. If you was going to sign Melik Fofana, then I would want somebody like Leao, even though the out of possession that worries me. But that's the sort of like twist that I would then be going towards, because Melik Fofana, for me, the positives that he gives you is the intricacy of his dribbling, the ball retention, the ability to sort of open up passing angles and create for others rather than create for himself off the dribble, which he can do because he's so intricate at dribbling. But it's not the same raw power that I want on that left-hand side. So no, I wouldn't be annoyed because he's a brilliant player. But then I would shift my attention to what I would also want added on that left side, and it wouldn't be the same as what I now want with Gittens, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. What issues will he face here? I'd have thought his dribble and shoot would translate. That will translate for sure. Honestly, I think it might take a minute in terms of the spacing to get used to it, but again, I think it's the quality. The other thing is the sort of pressure that will be on him from the get-go, because I think a lot of fans already don't want him, and I think that could hurt him. Hopefully, I think the fact that he is more of that goldfish type winger, I hope that he sort of sticks with it a bit like Madueke. Even when times are a little bit tougher, he still has that sort of desire to prove people wrong. So I don't think that will affect him too much, but that's obviously something to keep in the back of your mind. It makes sense. He's much better than Rodrigo. Who's that talking about, BMO? Oh, Yildiz. Sorry. Kudus would be Palmer backup. No. I think Kudus would be a bit of everything. I think he'd play on the left. I think he'd play as Palmer backup if Palmer was out. I think he'd play on the right if Madueke was sold. I think he's like the hybrid forward is not just for one role. No centre back coming in. If so, who? I think Hato's the most likely. There was some equity. I saw that for Hincap, yeah. Zach, I did. I feel like that's maybe if you don't get Hato. Lakiba could be another good alternative to Hato, yeah, Cams, for sure. The only thing with Lakiba, because I'm a huge fan of him, I don't understand why nobody's picked him up. I'm really confused. Like, I feel like it must be something to do with Leipzig must be being really awkward with selling him, because he is brilliant, and he's one that a lot of teams could use in a similar way to a lot of teams could use Hato. So yeah. Yeah, Payet, and again, another left footer with Payet, like you say. Is there a world where we can get both Rodgers and Kudus if we sell Noni? Is there a world we could? I was about to say yeah, but then you've already got, if you get Gittens as well, signing 3 wingers, even if Noni's sold, considering you've got Esteval, you've got Quenda joining, probably not. You probably still only get one of Rodgers or Kudus, but maybe it opens up. Maybe it then makes Kudus more viable rather than Rodgers, because you then lose a left footer, but then Kenda's joining as well. So it all depends what they've got planned for the squad beyond this season. Will saying keep pressing the likes, everyone, because I was just about to double check what we're on whilst I keep going through these questions. What are we on? 35. Let's get it to 50. Come on. I'm gonna refresh in 30 seconds before we answer any more questions. Let's get that to 50 likes. We're 15 away. Anybody that hasn't hit the like button, what are you doing? Listen to Will. Keep pressing on the likes, everyone. We need to get that up to 50 minimum. I'm going to take a swig of this drink while I wait for that 50. Then we'll get back to the questions. Because we've got quite a few to get through that I still haven't answered. Also, let me know if I've missed anything. Double check my phone. Like, if I miss any news, let me know in the chat. Because obviously, whilst I'm streaming, if Fab does anything Chelsea wise, I would miss it. Right, let's refresh. 39 likes. Keep that running up. I'll carry on with the stream because I don't want to just wait forever for likes. But please, can we hit 50? We've got more than enough people in the stream to do it. Where were we? You like Rodgers or Gittens or /Gittens because they can completely fill their role in attack but be really strong contributors when we defend. Yeah, I hear that. Again, on the ball, you can't beat Xavi Simons up. On the ball, I like Xavi Simons a lot, but it is a lot to do with the physicality and also what they offer off the ball, like you say. So that's a big part of it. Yildiz is your second choice if we can't get Rodgers. I don't hate that at all. Don't like the idea of getting wingers in. Yeah, like I said about Quenda. So yeah, I hear it. One thing I love about Rodgers is that he's still a game breaker because of his physical profile, despite being a hybrid. Absolutely. That's a massive part of why I like Rodgers, because I think he also adds central carrying, which is something we lack quite a bit of. So yeah. Yeah, it's not too far apart, but like I said, I think Rodgers just physically makes more sense. Hyping Yildiz way too much. He's a brilliant player. I don't think he's definitely not. Pardon me. He's definitely not worth 100 million euros, but I don't think he's been hyped too much. I think he's a very good player. Would you rather get Leao or Rodgers? With Gittens, I'd rather get Rodgers. With Malik Fofana, I'd rather get Leao. So it changes. In an ideal world, I'd go Gittens and Rodgers as my two. But like I say, if you got Malik Fofana instead of Gittens, then it pivots from Rodgers to Leao for me. Do you think Leao would change our lives? Really like this team that you put out there. Yeah, this would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? How do you feel about the briefing that the establishment are considering seeing Jackson as a left wing? Where have you seen that? I haven't seen anyone brief that we're considering it. I think a lot of people have sort of put two and two together, and I think especially now with the new system, with this sort of new usage, there's definitely scope to see it. But I haven't seen a brief about it. Thought Lukeb was nailed on for Liverpool. It is such a Michael Edwards sign, and you're right, Zach. Fans got to chill out. These young players look at issues with Sanchez and Kunku Sterling. Selling these experienced lads is tough. They don't perform. Yeah, but that's another thing. They're on lower wages, so they're a bit easier to move. Whereas saying Kunku Sterling, they're going to be on higher wages, a little bit harder to move on. Could you see a 3-3-4 set up with Palmer in the midfield free? Esteval rolling inside as a split striker, the right back providing width. So I'm assuming you mean Reece high up, the lap here. So it would be basically Palmer as Palmer would be the 10, but he'd be dropping into here as the third midfielder. So it'd basically be this. Is that how you mean? Esteval rolls inside, the lap sort of cheats left a bit. You sort of end up with, I'll put some lines in. Is that what you're getting at, Sam? Do you think there's a conversation about Palmer's goal scoring specifically as fans are too sensitive to talk about right now? I prefer him as a playmaker anyway. A lot of people, again, don't agree because of the goals that he scored. Brilliant goal scorer. And I'm not saying don't score goals because you're a playmaker. That's absurd. But I think Palmer's way too good to just pin him away as a goal scorer. I want him involved in everything we do because I just think he's so special on the ball. I think he opens corridors that you don't expect to be opened. And I think he goes up tenfold this year, sorry, with the lap and runners like Gittens. I just think he improves massively as a playmaker because I think it's already all there. I think the difference is just putting him in the back of the net and giving him a backlog of numbers that sort of prove the brilliance that he is, if that makes any sense. It's almost like we can see it now, but the numbers don't back it up yet because the XA is really high, but the actual assist numbers aren't as big. I think last season was somewhat sacrificial. Yeah, I said this. Oh, as far as squad building, I didn't say that. Sorry, take that back. Let me read the rest. Focus on opportunistic signings, making profit. I don't think we'll see I don't think it will be all opportunistic. No, because Gittens, I wouldn't say is an opportunity. I think they've sort of nailed down on that. The lap is an opportunity, but we was always going to get a striker in. I think it's somewhere in between. I don't think it's as like thingy like as much like that as last year. We aren't swinging for the absolute fences, trying to build sustainable. We're definitely trying to be sustainable. I agree with that. What do you think about Gittens' ability to play the split striker role? Yeah, we just spoke about that. I think it's good in terms of his ability to run in behind. Let me just check his. So yeah, he receives 9.21 progressive passes per 90, but that's also at Dortmund. So I think at Chelsea that would go up quite a bit as well. And he's definitely got the outlet sort of tendencies. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, Kays, don't pay too much attention now. We're just answering questions on the tactics board at the minute. I love Enzo. I'd be starting to. Do you think we sign a right centre back or just Hato? I think we could end up with both, but I think Hato's the most likely currently. And I think it also depends on sales, doesn't it? Like Vega, if he goes, that's sort of like Hato coming in, but it also doesn't block you off of an out-and-out centre back because Hato is more of a left centre back hybrid. System about Palmer in the middle is very, very interesting. Yeah, it is interesting because again, it would still be the 3-2-5 like this, but it would just be Palmer dropping in sort of into that pocket to receive and play forward to create that 4-3-3. So it would be a little bit more of a lopsided 3-3-4. But yeah, €90 million release clause. So yeah, it's a lot. You mean this, Sam? Yeah, it's definitely worth experiment. Like it's an interesting part. I'd be slightly worried about it would depend on Palmer's versatility in this role because he'd have to drop in here, but then also, like I say, get into that half space so that the lap can be in the box. Further up, it would become more the 3-2-5. But in terms of progression, yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, but that's why I like Enzo in this role too. TK soon come. Yeah, let's hope. Am I deluded to think we can still get Manyan? No, definitely not. I would be surprised if we don't. I think we will revisit it. I do. I think they're trying to be sort of coy and under the carpet about it, but I do think we will revisit it. Right, let's answer these last two questions. Yeah, there's not much outgoing news for sure. I want to see better actions in the next game. Attacking actions have been poor. Yeah, I think if you're talking about the Club World Cup, the last two games, I think it's just sort of fatigue and sort of just getting back into the swing. At the back end of the season, I wouldn't say that all attacking actions were poor. I think some people were on it, some people weren't. So I think it's just a confidence and form thing. I haven't seen anything on Ekatike, no. The amount of goals we conceded from knockdowns, yeah, I said this last season. Josh isn't solely the answer, no. I think it's a collective thing. I think Josh can help it in time because he's got the extra height to sort of stop the knockdowns happening on the flanks if he's playing as the right back, for example. But yeah, it's a collective issue. Squad is dead tired. It's ridiculously hot. Yeah, for sure. Gittens, you're saying. What's that to do with? Right. We spoke about Gittens a lot. Please drop a like. We're going to go for another 15 minutes. We're going to now go into... So we're going to get Gittens off the page and Esteval off the page. We're going to do our team for tonight now. Let's end of our team for tonight against Tunis. I'm just going to put again, we'll change this as we go because... For instance, I don't think James is going to start, but I'll do that for now. And let's talk about how this could line up. So, quick refresh, see the like count, and we'll do our team for today. 47. We've got 71 people watching for the Tunis preview. Firstly, we're going to do voting system. I'm going to say I'll have the final vote because I say so. But 71 people in the stream. Can we get that like tally to 70? Okay, we set the 50. We're getting close to the 50. Can we hit 70 now? Keep going because, as you can see, the more likes we get, the more people join the stream, the better it is for the whole community. Thank you, everyone, for the support. Let's keep that going. So in goal tonight, I do think it'll be Sanchez. But chat, first choice. Would you go Sanchez? Would you go Jorgensen, or would you really throw to the deep end and go Penders? Remember, this is an important game. We have to draw at least to go through, which is why I believe it'd be Sanchez. But chat, let me know your decisions now. Let's go. Sanchez, Jorgensen, Penders. Type in the chat. Penders, yeah, I would love to see him. I really would. A lot of people saying Penders. I would love to see Penders. I would. If the vote is Penders, if everybody's saying Penders, I will put him in. But I will state I think it will be Sanchez. I'll put that out there now. But if you guys think Penders, let's do it. Like if you want that, because I want that as well. You don't want to make out the group. See, I do. I want to face Bayern. That's what I mean. I want to get out the group, face Bayern, and then if we lose to Bayern, it's sort of like I won't be as hurt because the player welfare. And yeah, people saying Sanchez start. Yeah, I agree. But more votes for Penders, so we're going to put Penders in. But I hear it, but I just don't want us to lose. If we're in the competition, I want to win it. Right, centre back pairing. I think Tosin comes back in, personally. And then Colwill apparently was slightly ill. So I'm going to put Badiashile here for now. 2 centre-backs. Let me know in the chat, which 2 centre-backs would you play tonight? Again, remember the context of the game. Which 2 would you play? But I'm going to say Tosin and Badiashile. I would like it to be Tosin and Colwill, if he's ready. Trev and Tosin, interesting. Why would you not want us to make it out? Yeah, that's money, true. Badiashile, Tosin, yeah, you agree. Want to face Bayern, yeah. Tosin, Badiashile, so you agree. So let's stick with that then. You want to face Bayern, we need to see a preview of those CL night. Yeah, for sure. Can we still win the group? I think if we win tonight, we need Flamengo to lose. Yeah, we need Flamengo to lose. And even then, can we even win the group actually? Because we lost to them. So on head-to-head, I don't actually think we can. No. Depends who inverts. I hear that because obviously I'm assuming you mean who's going to be the central centre back. Let's do the fullbacks. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just realised that. I don't think we can because head-to-head. Because I don't think goal difference matters even with the head-to-head. Right, so fullbacks. James for me doesn't start. So I would start a Chempong. I really want a Chempong to start this. Now on the left, so hard because I would start Cucurella, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gusto starts at left back. But what I would say is if Gusto starts at left back, it can't be this back line. I think if Gusto's going to start at left back, you need more in there. Like you can't make that all 4 changes at the back. So but I'd say Cucurella. Let me know your fullbacks now. Both fullbacks. You think Gusto? What you think Gusto right back or left back, Zach? It's exhausting for the players. I hear that it's exhausting for the players 100%. But now that we're in it, I want to win it. Like I said, I won't be as hurt if we get to the Bayern. We get important games with Cuckoo, yeah. I won't be as annoyed if we get to the Bayern game. We get to test ourselves. We go out early. We get a little bit longer on the break, and we've put in a good shift. That's sort of where I'm at. That kind of what I was thinking, Zach, as well. But it's just so many changes is my only thing. Josh and Gusto. So a lot of people sort of agree with that. This is going to end up with a really, really rotated team, which I don't like. You said Action Cuckoo. You said Cuckoo. I'm gonna put Cucurella there, even though I think it could be Gusto. I'm gonna put Cucurella there because we've had a few of both votes. So let's now shift it on the ball because we know what the back line would look like. Let's say he's inverting Cucurella. Let's do that. Right. These 2 spots. So we got Cucurella. Who's going to be this DM? I think that Casado will start. Again, much like with Cucurella, this could be Lavia because Lavia didn't start the last game. Who would you put in that spot there? The holding spot next to Cucurella inverted. Who would you put in there? Give me one name for the deep spot. You'd say Casado. You say Lavia. I think you guys are having a bit of a chat between you, so I'll leave that one to you. Lavia. So let's say Lavia. But I agree. I do think Casado will start because it's important. But I wouldn't mind him having a rest. Let's start with Lavia. Let's go with Lavia. I think there's a few more Lavias. Now, moving forward, these 2 spots. I think Palmer and Andre. So yes, I would be resting Enzo and Casado. Now again, I don't think that'll happen. And again, and like you've just said, this actually could be the case. So yeah, you're right. Gianwilo. Yeah, Gianwilo. I don't think this will happen because again, I think with no Reece, I think Enzo has to start. So maybe it ends up with it's actually Santos in here and Enzo in here. But I think Enzo has to start. Who would be your two pocket players? Santos and KDH. Enzo will start. I agree. Santos and Palmer. I think Maresca's. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking as well, Zach. I think whether it's deeper or higher. So a lot of people are saying Palmer and Santos, so we will do that. But I think whether it's here or deeper, I do think Santos has a good chance of starting tonight because, like Zach says, I think Maresca will now be more aware of the drama. So I do agree with that for sure. Okay. Do we really need to do it for the striker? Does everybody agree to lap? Everybody agree? Let me know. I think that's quite obvious. With Jackson out. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Money might. It's just the game for Santos because you're not going to do it against Bayern. You're going to want to start with the tried and tested midfield. Yeah, Bruno saying to lap. For sure. We hit 50 likes, by the way, guys. So thank you all for the support. Doesn't mean stop liking there, though. Doesn't mean stop liking. If you still haven't liked the video, what are you doing? Drop a like. But thank you everyone for liking the video that has already. 50 likes. That's what we aim to hit minimum. See it, Zach. Would love to see it. So let's leave it on the wingers then. George Stalap, Noni. Okay, so the wingers. Who do we start? Noni didn't start last game. So do you start Noni on the right, Neto on the left? That's probably what I would do. Neto has to start for me. So he either starts on the left or right. For me, people saying George Noni, I think Neto's in really good form. So for me, it's either this or this. It's one of those two. I think the more likely, well, it could actually be Madueke on the left again with Neto on the right. But I think the pairing of Madueke and Neto, I think will happen. See, people say George isn't a winger. I think he is. I don't think he's I don't think he's a centre forward. A lot of people sort of saying that. I think he can do it. Man-to-man or low block. Honestly, it could go either way. A lot of people saying George and Noni. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I would be surprised if they went fully man-to-man. I think it might be this like a mid-block and then they go man-to-man in certain aspects. Yeah, that's sort of what I want to see, Will, as well, from the start. That's kind of what I want to see. Neto right, Noni left. The dynamics work with Santos on the interior. Yeah, fair. Let's leave it like that. Now let me know out of 10. Actually, no, let's not do out of 10. If this was the lineup, the exact lineup that we've come to on screen, with exactly like this, what's the score prediction for tonight? That's the question now. Score prediction with this lineup. Okay. I hear you. Yeah, I don't hate that. I think I don't mind him being pinned out on the wing because he has the ability to go both ways. But I hear what you mean in terms of cutting inside and being more on the inside channel. I do hear that because his ball striking is brilliant. 2-1. I'm assuming you mean to Chelsea, Fuego. 2-0, 3-0. So we think Penders could get a clean sheet if this was the case, huh? 3-1 to us for Kelly. 3-0, but the last two goals scored after 75-80. Okay. I'm a little bit worried about the heat tonight. I am. I think it's going to be one of those games where I don't mind it being a slow pace. We go 1-0 up and then we really slow things down. Just because remember we only need a draw, and I know that we don't want to draw. We don't play for a draw, but I think if we can get that 1-0 and we can go into a bit of cruise control, and when I say cruise control, I don't mean drop off it in our heads, but lower the tempo. I wouldn't mind that at all. 2-1 to the Chelsea. Esperance are used to playing in this weather. Yeah. Connor, I can't begin to express how horrible this heat is. I'm worried for the players. Are you there, Zach? Are you there? Are you going today? Yeah, the heat is the heat in England at the minute is hot. I've got a fan on here. Oh, you live a couple of hours away from Philly. I see. Can't believe the game's at 2 a.m. Yeah. Late one. I'll be working like up to the game. I'll be doing work because Benfica, Bayern, and games like that. Then I'll be watching, and then I'll be working again after the game at 5. No sleep for me. Absolutely no sleep for me. Wish I was in Atlanta. Yeah. Did you go to one of the games, Zach, or did you? Because I think it was in one of. Is it Alex? I think it was in Alex's playback. Because I think I was just sitting there listening whilst I was doing some work. I'm sure that you said you was either going to one of the games or you was going to go for one of the meetups. Am I right in saying that? At least it's an evening game. That's true. What do you do for work? This is what I do for work, Chelsea boys. So streaming videos, writing videos for other YouTubers, doing the analysis for other YouTubers. Again, doing sort of like paid work for other websites and other like analysis companies. But it's all football based. So whether it's what you see here, whether it's research, whether it's game breakdowns, all of that stuff. And I've got so much more coming as well. Squawker, that work's been brilliant lately. I've been really enjoying that. I've got a lot of other exciting things, hopefully, in the pipeline, which will be like written and video work. So really exciting times. But in terms of what I do for work, this is it. And that's why I'm so much sort of like trying to push the likes and push the support, because the more that we get, the more I can shift effort into this and doing a lot more sort of I'm trying to be consistent with the streams, but the better they do, the more I can do. If that makes sense. So yeah, he was at the first one for LAFC. Nice. Do a meetup. I mean, it would be in England, obviously, but you mean like next season going? Let me know in the chat. Are you also? I know Zach's America. Are the rest of you? Where are you all from? Is it England? Is the majority in England? The majority English, like in England, actually supporting, or are you guys from America, or are you somewhere like an African country? Croatia, Ohio, London, Sweden, Philly, England. The channel is growing. Keep up, mate. Thank you very much, Will. I'm trying my best, so thank you. Hampshire, so England, Ethiopia, American, Kentucky. There's quite a few Americans in here. Our American fan base is huge, man. It's so big. So Trinidad and Tobago. England for Will. Do you think we should get Barcola next season if the opportunity arises? I love him so much that I'll just always say yes. But I mean, is it needed? Probably not if we're going to sign Gittens and another player this summer. But I'm such a Barcola fan. Malaysia, Boston. It's quite a mix. It's like a mix of England and America, and then quite a few different sort of like African countries. So we've got like Trinidad, Ethiopia, Malaysia, Texas. Nice. So mate, yeah, there is quite a mixture, that's always good. Kenya, always good. How much do you consider Morgan Rogers a true left winger? I don't consider him a true left winger. I haven't been to America, Zach. I've been to Australia, which I know isn't the same thing, but it made me want to say it. That's like the only like long haul flight that I've done from England. I've done like other European countries, but yeah, haven't done America. I really want to. I'd like to do like an American sort of like toury type, like where I go for like a month. I do sort of like the mainstay places, like like Vegas is one I've always wanted to do. New York's one I've always wanted to do, but the other one for me is New Orleans, because I am a Pelicans fan in basketball, so I'd love to go there, experience that culture, and also just go to a game. Yeah, Australia was unreal, Raccoon. I loved Australia. Absolutely loved it. We're going to leave Garnacho. We're going to do that in another video. I'll really quickly, I will let you know if it happens. I will, Zach. If I end up doing that, I will 100% reach out to you and see, ask for some suggestions. Big up to all the Chelsea family on here. Absolutely. Where were we? What was I going to say? Yeah, with Garnacho, all I will say is I like the profile, but I think there's too many risks there. That's my main thing with Garnacho. Too many risks in terms of personality and sort of like what it could upset in the dressing room. Zion for the Pelicans, he needs to stay fit. And we need to get the right players around him. We've obviously traded Ingram, trying to put the right players around him. I think we need a year. We need to see what happens, because this year was just a write-off because Deontay Murray pretty much out for the whole season, on and off. CJ was injured a lot. Herb, Trey, so many injuries this season. So I want to see Zion with this roster, maybe with 1 or 2 changes to get some other shooters in. Down to do an NBA stream. It could be something. Could be something there. Could be. I'm not sure how many people would be up for that though. Is the only question. But yeah, I do like some NBA. I do like some NBA. That's sort of like I try to keep that separate. Like I mention it every now and again to like people that I talk to in the industry, like a few people that I work with, like NBA as well. And yes, I do agree, high risk, semi high reward for Garnacho. But yeah, I try to keep it sort of a little bit more separate due to I put so much into football, like in terms of analysis, that sometimes I just like to sit down and enjoy basketball. Not that I don't enjoy analysing football, but you know what I mean? Like it completely shut off from work. Even though I will say basketball tactics and like sort of playbooks and things like that are actually really translatable to football. I found I've done quite a few like sort of thesis things where I've sort of translated basketball to football, and it's quite interesting. Quite interesting. Right, we've been going for over an hour now, so I think I'm going to end it there. Let's have a quick refresh, see what we're on in terms of likes. It was a heartbreaker, Raccoon. It was an absolute heartbreaker. I felt really bad for him. Really bad. 57 likes. Anybody that hasn't liked, on your way out, please to support the channel, drop a like. Like I say, this will later, there'll be a Gittens video on my channel. So please, even if you've seen this and been in the stream, please check that video out, drop a like, help out with the algorithm with a comment, ask any questions in that and I will get to them. I will try my best to get to every comment, as I always do, because like I said, that will just help the algorithm massively if you guys could support that video for me. That will be out later today. And as Zach says, yes, the basketball strategy is immense. It's so much fun, which is something I do look to sort of compare at times. We're going to leave it there. Thank you, everybody, for the unbelievable support. And yeah, Fred, like I just said, I watch it in my head. I'm already doing it because I'm analytical anyway, but I don't write about it, for example, because I want to keep that separate. But in terms of how much do I watch it for tactical sort of elements, in the back of my head, I am always doing it. So yeah, keep the blue flag flying high. Up the Chels. Thank you, Raccoon. Thank you, Zach, as always. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Up the Chels.